Hello. This week we started a new sermon series called Gospel of the Nobodies. In Gospel of the Nobodies, we're looking at the book of Luke. Luke initially wrote his book to Theophilus, a person who was probably a really wealthy guy in that community, and who actually commissioned Luke to go out to hear from the local people who saw Jesus, who lived with Jesus, who saw his death and resurrection, and then to write it all down in one place. Theophilus was actually a really wealthy guy. So the irony is that Luke then writes over and over stories about nobodies, people who were unnamed, people who were the low class of society, who weren't the high-profile religious leaders. So today we're actually at the end of the book of Luke, looking at Cleopas and an unnamed man who meet Jesus on the road to Emmaus. What was happening at the time? Jesus had just died and been buried, and Easter morning, the disciples and the women went to the tomb. Now, they were really discouraged, and they didn't believe what they saw that morning, because on Easter morning, they didn't expect Jesus' body to be missing. Scripture actually says Peter, one of the best disciples, Peter ran away puzzled and afraid, scared even, when he saw that Jesus' body was missing. So that's what's happening, and then Cleopas and this unnamed man are walking from Jerusalem back to Emmaus, 7 miles. In that 7 miles, they're probably talking about the events of the day. Along the way, a man appears and shares with them. He shares with them some of the stories of the books of Moses, of the prophecies, and the promises about this Messiah. They don't know it's actually Jesus until they're sitting down and eating together in Emmaus. During the dinner, Jesus shares who he is and says to them, "Go back to Jerusalem. Walk those 7 miles to tell the disciples who I am." When they're with the disciples, Jesus appears again and says, "Be my witnesses." That's really the commandment that comes out of Jesus' appearing to the disciples, and he points specifically at Cleopas and this unnamed man. Be my witnesses. During the sermon this week, we shared a video of Marsha Bond and about how CUMC has been witnesses to our faith as her son Owen faced cancer. The video's on Facebook if you want to check it out. As a church, we are committed to being witnesses, to sharing the good news, sharing the hope of Easter. But first, we have to know that story ourselves. My encouragement to everyone on Sunday and each and every day is that you would know the hope of Easter, that you would live within your lives with that message so that you could go and share it with others. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you at worship sometime soon.